Hi everyone, I am Sue White. I am a 500-hour yoga teacher trainer, and I am also a former professional dancer. You have found yourself here because you have been experiencing some discomfort in your knees. I think at some point in all of our lives we have had some type of knee problems. So what we're here to do is really to stretch the surrounding muscles that help that hinge joint work beautifully, but we're also working on stability. So we're going to start by working our hips. So hips above the knees, obviously. We're going to keep a nice wide, maybe just slightly wider than hip width to start. So the insides of the ankles kind of then are in line with your hips. We're going to roll our shoulders up, down, and back. Draw the lower pelvic floor up, navel to spine. And we're gonna feel as though we're drawing our ribs together. So this is our stability within our core. We're gonna place our hands on our hips, and we're just gonna start by drawing little circles around with our hips. So pretend like you have that hula hoop on, and you're just creating these nice arcing circles, pitching the weight forward and back. We're keeping that core nice and contained here, and you're gonna find a focus. Maybe that's on a wall, maybe that's a picture in front of you, maybe that's something just above your television. And then we're going to reverse our circles. So just really working the whole facet of the hip, forward and back, side to side, all the way around. We can also isolate hip to hip, and then we can combine them, and this is kind of like beautiful little swooping figure eight action. So we're gonna start by allowing your right hip to come all the way through center and up and around. Maybe it feels a little funny, and that's okay, but we're just gonna work the right hip. And now let's take it over to our left. So we're finding that tiny circle of just the left. The right is along for the ride, but we're really focusing on the left. We can now combine those two and create these little figure eights. Within your hips, you're gonna allow the knees to just bend gently and create these figure eights. Beautiful. Let's take it for 4, for 3, maybe get a little sassy with it, 2, and 1. All right, shake it out. Let's work into our hamstring scoops. So I'm gonna place my right foot underneath my right hip. I'm gonna extend through my left leg, and I'm gonna draw my toes up towards my nose. I'm gonna take my arms, and I am going to make this big, beautiful scooping action. I'll be hinging at my hips, and I'll be sending my weight into my rear end. So we'll sink back, allow the arms to scoop down, and really lift them all the way up, and find yourself nice and stacked, and then bend into the right knee. And you can take these as slow or not too quick. We do want to find the stretch as you take the scoop forward. You really want to feel as though you're keeping the hips nice and square. If you happen to be on a mat, I would face the short end of your mat like I am here, and I'm trying to keep my hips in line with the short end of my mat. So just gently allowing yourself to kind of ebb and flow in and out of the hamstring. I like to think of like my ligaments as these oversized elastic bands that sometimes you can just gently give a little tug to and then release. Let's take this for 4, for 3, and maybe your hands aren't coming down as far as mine, and that's okay. Really keep the toes drawing towards the ceiling. This is 2, and 1. Beautiful. We're gonna switch it to the other side. I'll face you this time. So sending the right leg out, keeping the hips nice and square, sinking into our left hip. Take a big inhale, lengthen, and as you exhale, we'll take a scoop forward, sending our hips back, hinging at the hips. Inhale up, exhale down. I really, really always advocate for a mind-body breath connection. Exhale as you come down, inhale as you lift. It's almost as though you're creating these beautiful breaths, these wave-like breaths throughout the body. Again, just gentle, finding your own pace. Take it 2 more times. Last one, exhale. Beautiful. How'd your hamstrings feel? Pretty good? All right, let's shake it out. We're now gonna work our quads. So if you are experiencing any knee pain, bringing your heel up towards your glute or your butt may be a little bit tricky. It will potentially feel uncomfortable. So if you are having any impingements or limited mobility within your knee, as we work our quad, you can always come up next to a sofa or a chair and you can place your shin on top of the chair. So we're gonna work on our balance here because we are going to be coming into a shift of weight and a balance on one leg as we work our quad. At any point, you can grab a wall, you can grab a chair for balance. So here I am, I'm pretending to hold my chair, and I'm gonna allow my right heel to float. If I were having any discomfort in my knee, I'm gonna simply be placing my shin here on a chair behind me. And I'm going to take a nice lengthen or lift through the front side of the body. So I like to feel as though I'm having a gentle pressure, a little bit of sensation through the front of the hip flexor, and perhaps it comes all the way down your quad. If you do not have any limited mobility within your knee, I suggest that you grab the outer part or the front side of your foot, and you can allow the heel to be drawn up towards the glute, go along through the spine and through the crown of the head to keep yourself nicely balanced. Take that same little gentle pressure through the front of the right hip. Perhaps you feel it through the hip flexor and all the way down to the quad. And let's release that. Shake it out. Let's do that on the opposite side. So placing our feet underneath our knees and our hips, shifting the weight. And again, if you need balance, grab a chair, grab the wall, and also if you need, and know that your knee pain obviously can be different from side to side. So if you have the knee pain on the left, you're gonna place the chair behind you on the left. So finding our balance. If your knee is resting, take a little bit of that beautiful sensation of the pressure through the front of the left hip flexor, feel it down your quad. If you have no limited range of motion on your left knee, let's draw that heel all the way up to the glute. And again, go long through the crown. Feel that nice gentle pressure through the front side of the body here. Maybe feel it all the way down the quad. And beautiful. How are we doing? Great. All right, so take a little shake out. We're gonna work our ankles and we're gonna just work into some calf raises here. Exactly what they sound like. Keeping our heels, our knees, our hips aligned, always thinking of that core stability, so lower pelvic floor, navel to spine, the closing of the ribs. Let's place our hands on our hips or your hands out like a T for balance. And again, we are just simply lifting and lowering through the calves. The idea when you're here, I always like to make sure that my quads are totally engaged. I like the idea of feeling as though I'm drawing energy up from the ground and I'm lifting it up through the front of the shins. I'm making my knees smile, which then makes my quads engaged and lift up my thighs. I'm closing off all my ribs, keeping everything nice and tight, hands to hips. We're just gonna lift and lower 5 times through the heels, working those calves and the mobility of our ankles. So let's go lift and lower. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we're not flopping down those heels to the floor. So feel as like you have something squishy yet hard under your heels, like maybe it's an orange, and you're allowing yourself to soften through the whole foot onto the floor, but you're not just allowing your weight to come up and be jarring down, but it's a soft amount of pressure as you lift and lower. So you're resisting the body weight as you come down to the mat, heels to mat. So let's take this for 5. Let's set the shoulders down our back. This is 4, go long through the crown. 3, can you feel yourself knitting together still? 2, lower. And a last one, can we hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, good job, lower down. Okay, shake it out. So to finish it all off, we're just gonna work our ankles. Guess what, our feet take the brunt of our day every single day. Let's treat them with the most kindness that we can, because let's be honest, we typically think of our back, our hips, my quads, all the things. We rarely take care of our feet. So let's work through our ankles and just start by creating just these little circles around our ankles, and you can take them nice and slow, or you can have maybe a little bit of a quicker pace. I wouldn't go too quick. Let's not do anything too jarring, but really work the ankle, circling it around clockwise. And now let's just take a little bit of a opposite circle. It's like that tapping of the head and the spinning of the belly when you're trying to sometimes do the opposite way of what you're used to. And let's release that, shift weight. Let's put our kickstand of our left side, our left heel up, and just work through the mobility of our left ankle. And again, always thinking of stability, keeping everything nice and stable up here as we work through our ankles. And let's just roll it out the other way. And let's take this for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And the very, very, very last one that I want to get into with you today. And again, I would absolutely grab something to brace yourself to keep your balance, because it's just going to be a simple allowing the top of the foot to rest on the floor below. And all you have to do, one, you can just let gravity take over. Or if it feels okay with your ability and ankle mobility, you can take a little bit of pressure to open up the whole top side of your foot. And we're just gonna hold this for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Maybe do a little flex point to get it out, and we'll shift it over to the opposite side. Again, grab anything that you need to. Let's place the top of the left foot. An option to take a little bit of pressure or just let gravity take over, but know that we're being very kind and we're not putting too much pressure into the top of the foot. Let's hold this for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, flex the foot, point it, and there we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little knee segment. Know that this would be a great place to pair it with any of our stability or balance classes. So I hope to see you there. Till next time.